Uh, in my dim, distant, and misguided youth, I went hang gliding, parasailing, and I had an accident, and I had to give up going outdoors. And the only thing I could really do after that accident was go cycling. I couldn't afford a bicycle. One day, one of my neighbors left to go back to the US, and he had a fancy bicycle, and he wanted to sell it, and I got it for 600 rupees. And I said, now I have a fancy bicycle as well. And I went out cycling. It transformed my life. It's incredible what it did to me and to my thinking. I don't know how many of you guys have been out cycling. How many? Can I see your hands raised? There's nearly everybody. You should pray for this kind of transformation to happen. Story that I'm about to narrate to you. One day, by accident, I met a guy called Ravi Ranjan many years ago. He's a Bangalorean. And at that time, a few guys would go out cycling, but you wouldn't see them because they would leave at 5 in the morning, come back by 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then they would have a bath and go to work. But between that time, they would have finished cycling 100 kilometers. And Ravi was one of the first guys in Bangalore who would do these 100-kilometer rides. In fact, in the cycling community, it came to be known, 100 kilometers came to be known as one Ravi. Unit of measurement. Yeah. I happened to meet Ravi by accident, and he told me, that there is no event for cyclists in India. Nobody can go cycling anywhere. And we friends want to go out cycling, 4 or 5 of us. Would you like to join us? He said that we're going to cycle through the Nilgiris. And I said, no. I mean, you guys look young. You guys are young dudes, Look at me. I'm going nowhere, So I said, no. We're going to cycle over 8 days. And we're going to do 900 kilometers through the Nilgiris. I said, that sounds even worse. I'm not going to do this. He said, okay, help us. Help us make it happen. I said, fine. And with a bunch of youngsters, we began working, and we created what is today called the Tour of Nilgiris. It is a 900-kilometer bicycle ride through 3 states. It goes through some of the most spectacular forests that you can imagine through the Nilgiris. It's 900 kilometers, 8 days, and every year, some 75 cyclists go on it. And it goes with everything. It goes with an ambulance, with physiotherapists, everything. It's completely supported. And it's in its 5th year now, and it has now a race segment in it. And I guess every person who wants to take to cycling seriously dreams of going on this tour. It's huge. There isn't anything of its kind in the country. We don't see it, but it is such a big event, and I feel really proud of the fact that I was part of the start of the Tour of Nilgiris. But what it did for me, I could never have dreamt of these 100 kilometers, etc., But I got to tell you this, Last Sunday, I did 130. The Sunday before that, I did 112. And the next Sunday, I'm going to do 150. And if you think that is something, you should wait for one of the next speakers who's going to come, Manjula. She thinks nothing of getting up in the morning and cycling 28 hours non-stop and doing 600 kilometers. She's here between us, yeah? It's quite incredible. And this is it, I got back my health. I met young people. I met young minds. And it completely transformed my mind. Forget my body. I was a fat slob, And it transformed everything. I found health with these youngsters just through cycling. Nothing else. It didn't take going to doctors. It didn't take anything. By the way, I had high blood pressure. It's gone. I don't experience any high blood pressure anymore. I'm perfectly all right. The Tour of Nilgiris ended up strangely with me meeting another person. And his name is Vijay Sharma. Vijay is a carpenter, very proud of his skills, very proud of his ability. He makes furniture. He's also a designer. And at that time, Vijay was making a bamboo bicycle. And it was fairly buggy, the bicycle. Every time he'd make it, there'd be bugs in the bicycle who'd eat up the bamboo, and it would collapse. One day I asked him, to get one of his initial bicycles that he'd made over to the friends whom I go cycling with for them to try it. And the bicycle fishtailed. You ride it and the back would go like a fishtail. I said, okay, this needs fixing. So we spoke to him, and Vijay said that, why don't you tell me what I need to do with this, And we worked at it, and Vijay finally produced a bamboo bicycle that went on the second tour of Nilgiris. Incredible. To have a bamboo bicycle that was going out with guys who were so aggressive with the cycling. And we had something made out of Bangalore, made out in the backyard. And the best part is that Vijay today grows all the bicycles in his backyard. He's harvesting bicycles. And you won't believe it. I can guarantee you this, it's such an incredible tale. This month, he has his bicycle in a design museum in Milan. It's that good. Last year, he was invited by the CII. They have a innovations seminar, and he was one of the speakers there. Practically everyone in the audience wanted a bamboo bicycle. He makes bicycle frames today, and he exports them to parts of Europe. He hand makes them. This is my bamboo bicycle. It's handcrafted for me, for my size, and for what I want to do. It replaces 2 kg of steel, non-replaceable steel, with bamboo, which is completely biodegradable, which you can grow. It's beautiful, and I think it is much better than steel. When I ride this bike, I don't feel any shock at all because the bamboo absorbs it naturally. It's an incredible design. But the most amazing thing went and happened to Vijay. And I think that's really the story of wealth. It's helped me interpret these things differently. Vijay was called by a bunch of guys in Manipur, where there's a lot of bamboo. And they said, why don't you teach us to make bamboo bicycles? It'll give us a livelihood. There's a factory in Imphal that used to make bicycles many years ago, when there was a market for these bicycles in Burma. That market died. But today, those young kids over there want to make bicycles so that they can attract more tourists to the place in a very eco-friendly way. And Vijay went and is now teaching them to make bamboo bicycles. He'll create real wealth out of it, not for himself, but for people around him. Oddly enough, through cycling, I met a third person. His name is Samim Rizvi. He's 43. If any of you drink coffee and have been to a cafe coffee day and have seen one of those small dispensing machines, on the side of the dispenser is a picture of 2 people, a man and a woman on a bicycle. The man is Samim Rizvi. He decided one day that he wants to go for what is perhaps the most brutal race devised in the name of sport. There is no other event on earth that is as brutal as the race across America. It begins on the West Coast and it ends on the East Coast, and you do 5,000 kilometers over 12 days. The total elevation gain when you go across that terrain is 4 times Mount Everest. You go through sun, you go through desert, you go through rain, you go through snow, you go through everything. And the first time Samim went, he failed. He fell ill on the second day, and he had to come back very disappointed. But he made up his mind that he would give it another shot. And the second time he went, he didn't know it, but he was about to suffer such massive disappointment. We cannot imagine that kind of thing ever. Yeah? Now, there are people who do the race across America. They don't sleep for 11 days. They sleep perhaps an hour. There is a support team that goes with the cyclist. The support team has to actually, they speak over radio. The support team has to tell the cyclist that we are going to stop you now. And they get out of the vehicle and they hold the cyclist, and bring him into the support vehicle, where a physiotherapist or somebody look after him, change his clothes while he's lying or sleeping, and put him right back, onto the bicycle and ride. There are points where the cyclist doesn't know whether he's climbing or going down, You're in that state. You're cycling 23 hours a day, 12 days in a row. Imagine that kind. There are people, as an aside, there are people who have died on the race across America. But Samim decided, no, he wants to do it. He got himself a team of people to back him up, and 3 immensely brave people, as it happens, all of them from Bangalore, went and supported him. The incredible part is that he actually finished the race the second time round. He actually made it with the help of his team. But for technical reasons, it could not be recorded as a closure, as him having finished the race. There are many reasons why this happened, but they could not record it as Samim finished the race. They didn't tell him this for 2 days, while he was recovering. When he reached the end point, it was all okay because he'd finished it, but they didn't tell him that there was a technical problem. When he discovered it, when he was told about this, you can imagine the kind of disappointment he went through. Not just him, his whole team, his entire support team. They were broken-hearted. By the way, 2 of those people in the team are my neighbors. One lives opposite my house, and one I go cycling with every weekend. Yeah, and they're great minds. One of them is a playwright. The other guy is a chap who works with an NGO. He manages millions of dollars worth of water projects across the world. And the third person, a woman, she's a marathon runner. You can imagine how much disappointment they all went through. But I spoke to Samim, and that really is the story of happiness for me. He's put it all behind him, all the disappointment. And he told me something totally amazing. He said, it's okay, but I now stand a chance to train people in this country to fight it out in the Olympics. And I think that is really it. The ability really not to look at the finish line. The finish line is irrelevant. We put it there for us. If we can erase it, we can go well beyond it. And I think that really is the big story, for me about happiness. And simply through cycling, I have learned to redefine for myself all the 3 things, what health, wealth, and happiness actually mean. Thank you.